Good morning, boys and girls. My name is Shapa, and today we're going to talk about the food web and how we create one. The most important thing in a food web is the arrows, because the arrows is the form where you show the energy where it's flowing from one organism to the other. And here we have organisms. And the vocabulary words we're going to study is the producer, the primary consumer, the secondary consumer, the tertiary consumer, and the decomposer. Here we have the grass, boys and girls. The grass gets its energy from what type of organism? It gets it from the sun. Okay, so we draw our arrow towards the grass because the grass gets the energy from the sun. Here we have a zebra and an antelope. Both of these animals, both of these organisms gets its energy from the grass. So we're gonna put our arrows connecting both organisms getting the energy from the grass. But look, boys and girls, the arrows are pointing towards the primary consumer. Here we have the hyena. Where does the hyena get his energy from? Correct, from the zebra and the antelope. So both of these organisms, we're going to connect the arrow going this way and this one going this way, because the hyena gets its energy from both of these animals, both of these organisms. What about the tertiary lion we have here? This one gets its energy from the hyena. So we put our arrow pointing down towards the lion. But when the lion, boys and girls, dies, what happens to its body? Yes, it dies. It goes underground and it decomposes. And when it decomposes, we put our arrow from the lion to the decomposer, because the lion dies and its body decomposes. And it takes time. By the time it's a process. But all the nutrients from the decomposing, where does it go, boys and girls? It goes back to the producer, to the grass, because it passes its nutrients back to the grass. So it's all connected. So this is the way we create a food web, and they're all connected here. Okay, boys and girls, now I'm going to give you a handout. This is a handout that we just passed along, and there's pictures on it. Your job is to connect just the way I did it previously. You are going to connect each organism. You're going to draw the arrows, and make sure, boys and girls, you draw the arrow correctly and you label it. You put producer, primaries, consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary, or decompose. But you make sure, boys and girls, that you put your arrows to the right organism. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to work on it, and then after you're done with the 2 minutes, we'll work on it together. And if you have any mistakes, we're going to work on it together, and you make corrections. So make sure you use a pencil so you can go back and erase. Okay, boys and girls, time's up. Now we're going to work on it together. I'm putting the email so we can all work on it together, and double check your work. Here we have the sun and the grass. You're supposed to connect the arrow going this way because the grass gets the energy from the sun. So what do we call the grass, boys and girls? Producer. So make sure you write that on that organism. If you made a mistake, erase it and rewrite it. Now who eats the grass, boys and girls? The grasshopper. Very good. So we connect it like this. Make sure you put primary consumer. Now, boys and girls, where do we connect the next arrow? From the mouse. Very good. So the mouse eats the grasshopper, so the arrow is going to be pointing this way, and you're going to put secondary consumer. Now who eats the mouse, boys and girls? The eagle. Very good. So we point the arrow going towards the eagle, and you label it. you put tertiary, consumer. And when the eagle dies, boys and girls, what happens to the eagle? It dies and it goes under the ground and it decomposes. So you put the arrow going this way and you put decomposer. And when it takes time and there's a process, what happens to all the nutrients from the decomposer? It goes back to the grass. So you make sure you draw your arrow going all the way back to the grass. And this is the way your handout should be labeled. If you make any mistakes, please erase them and make sure you label them correctly and put the vocabulary words because we're going to be studying throughout the week. Thank you very much.